BDSM taught me different sides of my personality. I realized that in every relationship that I have now, I bring out a certain part of my personality because of, they enable it.
Hey guys, I'm Yvanne, host of At The Backdoor. We discuss controversial, taboo, and socially relevant topics. Today we're going to discuss about BDSM. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe down below. Today we'll be joined by Nudista.
So I'm a BDSM practitioner. I do bondage. So the bondage that I do is mostly Japanese rope bondage. So it's called Shibari. So in terms of what I do, it's not just that. I also am into edging, teasing, orgasm denial, and all the other good things that BDSM has to offer.
Yung BDSM, most people have an idea what it is about now because of mainstream media, but I understand na madami pa rin misconceptions around it. Like, I know I do because I don't practice it. I think I'm intimidated by it because I don't fully understand it. So how do you define BDSM?
So in terms of what BDSM is actually an umbrella term for a lot of kinks. So BDSM means bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, and then sadism and masochism. So most of the time, people think about BDSM as 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a wrong misconception because the BDSM portrayed in that movie isn't how BDSM is really practiced by the practitioners. A lot of the misconceptions is that it's almost always about pain. So when you see mainstream media, it's about women in leather or in latex and then red lipstick and all of these
Whips.
Yeah, the whips, and then it connotes a strong depiction of I'm going to make you my slave, I'm going to do this. But when you look into the spectrum of what BDSM is, it's not just about pain, there's also the spectrum of pleasure. So when you think about it as a rainbow of things, you then don't look at it anymore the same way because it's not just about pain. Of course, pain is also part of it, but there's also the pleasure side that's more fluffier, that's more bright and colorful, because in that spectrum there is daddy dom, little girl dynamics, wherein you have a daddy and then there's this little girl and then you play around. In a way, that takes the idea that it's all about men or women in slave outfits, being on their knees, bowing down to the supreme femdom.
How did you get into this?
So when you were 18, when everyone's 18, they start exploring things because it's the age of where it's legal to have sex and stuff. So I was in college back then and I met this guy. He was 5 years older than I was, so he was 23, and then we had a really good relationship. And because the relationship was founded on trust, it was easy for me to actually be okay when he asked me, "Hey, do you want to get tied?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Because I like the guy, and then I trusted him. So of course, it totally made sense to me that, okay, if I'm going to explore it with someone, I'm going to explore it with him because I know he wouldn't take advantage of me in any way. And that was the gateway. He was like, "Do you want to get that?" And I said, "Yes." And then from then on, I started looking for that. Even after he and I don't meet as much anymore, and then I had relationships, that's when I asked my partners, "Hey, can you tie me?" Because the guy who tied me before was offering classes, or not really classes, but he was offering to teach the men in my life to do that because he knows that I love it. And from then on, because my partners didn't want to do it, I said, "Okay, that's fine." And then when I became single, I just went back to it. I was like, I contacted the guy who tied me years back. And then I said, can I get into the community again? Can I get into this? I want to find someone who can tie me like that again, or something better. So yeah, that was the. Yeah, I think. Well, looking back, it was funny because every time I see him, I tell him, it's your fault I'm into this. And then he said, dude, it's not that it's my fault. It's just that I unleashed the beast in you. So I was like, yeah, if you didn't, I wouldn't be here practicing this with you. So
sobrang ganda ng introduction mo kasi it's with a very trustworthy person.
Yeah. And it was one of those, I didn't expect it to be good. It's just that I was in the hands of someone who knew what he was doing.
What do you get from this that you don't get sa like normal sex?
Okay, it's not about just it being used in sex. BDSM for me now is a lifestyle. Like, I realized that what I got from BDSM is that I noticed how differently I communicate things now. In BDSM, I was taught how to communicate effectively. Before getting into BDSM, I noticed that the way we communicate is through assumption. We're assuming things instead of asking the person. I also realized how specific things are when you communicate. Like when you say, what does it mean when you feel hurt? Most people say when you talk to another person who's going through something, they say, oh, I feel hurt. Okay? And then from not being able to communicate, it's more like, okay, you feel hurt. Okay, do you want to go out and distract you from this? But when you're coming from a place that has taught you how to communicate properly, you then ask questions like, what kind of hurt are you feeling? Is it physical, emotional, mental? And then you go deeper and learning more about, okay, if it's emotional, what kind of hurt? Is it painful, as in, are you angry at something? Are you angry at someone? So you get into it deeper, and then it creates a space for you to say, hey, yeah, I feel this, and thank you for giving me this space so I can share this without judgment. Because BDSM is a space where people get together, and because you're doing taboo things with people who, accept that part of you, it becomes a safe space. So, you open up that space also. BDSM taught me that. Like, if I'm going to talk to someone, I'm going to be there for them. It's me being present. It's me holding space for them for non-judgment. Also, BDSM taught me different sides of my personality. I realized that in every relationship that I have now, I bring out a certain part of my personality because of, they enable it. Like, if person number one likes being teased, then a side of me is like, okay, I'm going to tease you, but he likes humiliation as well. Then a part of me will be mean because he wants the humiliation part. And then person number two likes to be mommied or babied in a way that's okay, the typical mommy wherein, hey baby boy, how are you? Do you feel good right now? Or how's your day been? So again, it lets me explore different sides of my personality, and because I'm conscious of that now, I'm conscious also in my daily life that I also project a certain personality with the different groups of people that I'm with. So it's like, okay, that's nice. It's nice to see that different sides of my personality are accepted by these kinds of people. Then why can't I share this side of me or different sides of me with the people that are not kink related, like who are not kink inclined? So that's also a beautiful thing. And then also, BDSM taught me how to navigate through consent. Because that's a big thing. Again, we're a culture of assuming assumptions, right? So that's why I ask questions like, okay, can I visit you? And if you can't, if I can't go, it's okay because I respect you and I want you to be comfortable. Of course, when you navigate through consent, a no now doesn't mean that they will say no again in the future because the circumstances change. Or even if they say yes now, like, yes, you can visit now because I'm free. And then, diba, sometimes when you go to your friend's house again, like, oh no, you can't come because I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's how you see it now. Like, I'm not gonna take offense with that because it's your space. I respect you as a person. You have your boundaries. I have mine. Yeah, we're still good. Yeah.
Most people don't understand kasi na once they say yes or they assume that they say yes na they're saying yes to everything.
Yeah.
Pero they're not really. Tapos di rin tayo tinuturuan to be our genuine selves, so we can't really voice out what we really feel, what we really want.
And I realized that when you're going through all of those things, that why can't we feel genuine with, in real life? Why? Is it because of the stigma that we have around? And again, because of the stigma, we tend to look into what makes other people happy. And as people, we are afraid that if our relationships fail, we don't have anyone else. But then I realized within myself, like, the people who love me would accept me even with this kind of thing that I'm doing. And it made me strong as a person, knowing that, at the end of the day, I love what I'm doing, and I love myself for it. And even if no one supports me, it's fine. But because of the energy that I put out and the care that I put out with the people I work with or the people I play with, the people I meet, they see that I'm a genuine person. And when I do BDSM, it's coming from a place of care and love. Because I won't do anything that would hurt the other person. Of course, if the scene is hurting them, the point is to hurt them, of course I'm going to take care in knowing what their limit is so that I don't go overboard. Sometimes, even if they're in the certain headspace and I have to navigate through that, I have to understand, okay, they might not know their limits at that point. And I have to be the one to say stop because I care for you. If I push you now, I know I can push you farther, but if I push you now, you're not in the right headspace, you're not in the right condition now, you can withhold. You can do it another time because I care for you. You can always escalate another time. But if I escalated you or this session now, it might not be good for you. It might destroy you. It might hurt you. It might change you mentally, physically, emotionally, and I don't want that to risk.
Yeah,
because it is coming from a place of care and love, and not a lot of people see BDSM as a loving practice.
Yeah. So kahit like you're hurting this person physically, it's still a safe space for you.
Yeah, because that's what they want.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly the one, like, since I am a person who has the kink of giving pain, like, he's a masochist, I'm a sadist, of course, our kinks align. So of course, we're going to play. We're going to play with that. But when they say stop, when they say they can't handle anymore, I'm like, okay, let's sit down, let's stop. Okay, what happened? And then you take care of each other. Because sometimes, even if it's not them saying the safe word, it's also me sometimes. Like, what if it triggered something inside me and I can't anymore proceed with the session. I'm like, okay, we're done, we stop. Diba? It's acknowledging that you have limits, that you're human, and you have needs. Sometimes your headspace today is 100%, tomorrow it's 50. And it's changing. And you navigate by always flowing with each other.
So it really boils down to open communication.
Yeah.
You mentioned about opening up these personalities. I think yung society natin, we're obsessed with having a set identity na naka-box lang. So, having that avenue to explore these things, like, it would help you grow more, di ba?
Yeah, exactly. Kasi didn't I realize now I'm not just one personality. I realized that I have personas within me that just comes out. And there are times wherein sometimes I'm in a meeting and then I just whip out my dildos. Like, hello guys, look at this! But of course, it's not a corporate meeting. But more of like, if I'm with, people I work with in terms of sexuality
and your
other
friends.
things. Yeah, and sometimes, there was a time, like, wherein I'm in a meeting and then I forgot that my sex toy was, suctioned on the wall. And then when I opened my camera, I was like, oh shit, my dildo is hanging by the...
Sorry.
More of like, I closed my camera so that they don't see anything. I put it down and then I opened my camera. It was like,
Nothing happened.
The good thing, it was a sexuality festival. So
okay.
it was accepted. And then I was talking about BDSM.
Sa team naman.
So they knew that I had toys like going around there. So it was a funny experience. And the people I'm working with now are open to that. So being myself, being my genuine self, opened avenues for people to come into my life who are open and accepting of who I am. So isn't that a beautiful thing to accept yourself?
Yeah,
I don't know
actually,
why.
when I see people like you na sobrang genuine, sobrang nai-inspire ako to be my higher self then.
That's a good thing.
So thank you for existing and being brave and open about these things. Actually, yung pinaka gusto kong itanong is, when does kinks cross the line? Like, when does it become like a mental disorder?
Actually, it's not a mental disorder.
Like, for example, like cannibalism. Like, if I have a kink of cannibalism and may consent with my partner.
Yeah,
Like,
that's extreme.
Yeah, when does that become that extreme?
Actually, the thing with that is that you're taking away life from another person. And I know I've heard about stories around that. It's just that I don't know how to feel with that because it is consenting. But in BDSM, you don't want to take away someone's life. That's very much an extreme kink. And I don't know how to navigate around that because I'm someone who's pro-life. It becomes like borderline when you cross a person's boundaries. You cross your consent. Basically, anything.
Pero yun nga, like sa cannibalism, like there is consent. Like,
yeah. It is.
Paano yun?
Actually, there are many discussions about that. That people, it's a mixed bag. Pero kasi sa stand ko na lang, like, it crosses a line wherein you're killing a person for that.
Yeah. Tsaka yung sabi mo, may responsibility sa welfare, yung dalawa.
Ayun kasi para binabato mo na lang yung buhay mo. That's my perspective. But as a practitioner lang, that's a big red flag. You want to be eaten by this person. You want to be killed for this purpose. In what way?
Can you talk to me about what you get from tying people and what the person being tied gets from it?
Okay. So when I tie people, actually, let's start with being tied because that's where I was. That's where it started. When I got tied, contrary to what it feels like, I feel free when I'm tied. It's just freeing to think that rope is a way for me to receive physical affection in another form, in another way. Rope, when done properly, feels like a really good hug. And to be bound like that for a while, especially with the care and attention and love that my partner is giving to me, it's a way for me to feel like as if, wow, okay, I'm sitting here being present, feeling all of these sensations, feeling free because there's this person looking after me while I experience this kind of feeling or high that I'm getting. And once I come down from that, I let out a big sigh. I just want to lie down and be a pool of, good feelings because you're like, wow, okay, this is so nice because I was with this person and they gave me an experience that I will not get from other people because they have the expertise, they have the knowledge, they know me, we trust each other. They trust me to voice out my concerns, my opinions, whatever I need to say to take care of myself, while also them, taking care of me in the process. In terms of me tying naman, what I get is, I guess the high I get is from seeing people be happy after. Kasi for me, it's not just for me, it's for them. Because any chance to tie is a happy tie. I mean, it's a happy thing for me. But for them, it's going to be different. For me, it's practice, or it's me, upping up my skills. But for them, it's going to be like, okay, what kind of experience am I dealing with today? Do I want to be tied because I want to let go of something? Do I want to be tied because I want to explore my body? Do I want to get tied because I just want her to explore rope? I'm giving myself to her so that she can practice. So it's a thing where I appreciate the people I get to tie because they're offering their bodies to me. And in essence, rope is very risky. It's not safe. Even if I take care of doing things, there might be accidents. And the people who willingly give their bodies to me is, in essence, giving their life to me. Because when they're tired, things might happen. Like, if I do it, if I was an asshole and didn't take care of them, I can kill them. That's how risky it is. Even for me, as someone who gets tired, it is risky business. But why do I do it? I do it because I trust the other person. I do it because they trust me. I do it because it's something we want to explore together, and we know the risks of it. But we are responsible for each other during that time.
Gusto ko rin itanong, do kinks come from repressed trauma, repressed emotions?
Actually,
Or not necessarily?
some do, some don't. So it really depends on where you're coming from. Kasi there are people who use BDSM to confront their traumas. Kasi yung iba, they see it as a way of taking back what was taken from them.
Yeah.
So more of like, what if when they were taken advantage of in terms of, they were touched in ways that they didn't want to by this other person. So when they get into a BDSM scene, they say, okay, I want to be touched in this certain way. But it's me calling the shots as to how I want it. Because the other thing was, it was taken. Now it's like, I want to receive in this certain way. And it's taking charge. It's you being empowered to say, voice out what you want, what you need. So it's one of those things that a lot of people go through. Like, there are people with trauma going into it. But of course, you're not there as a therapy session. It's just that it's very therapeutic in some way, because it's a space where you can role play something. Sometimes people get into that kind of space where okay, I don't like getting hurt, but in this situation, I want to get hurt because I want to power through this. Because I need it. I need it for catharsis. I need to release this inside of me. And to find someone who's willing to just give you that experience, because, hey, I care for you, and I know that by giving this to you, you're going to let go so well. That is going to help you in life. Fine, sure, I'm going to do it. So you don't have to have a trauma to get into it. It's just that some people just navigate through their emotions in that way, in a different way. What if, diba, parang, see it as, this is my opinion now, like, see it as going to the gym to let out some steam. Because you can't in work.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like another activity. Like, okay, there's another way for me to release steam. Why not?
Yeah, so it's just an avenue for me to release it.
Yeah, to release, to explore, to understand oneself, to, open up new possibilities. What if you didn't like being objectified, but in the scene, you were objectified in some way, and then, oh, it's something for me. I didn't know that I love exploring that side of me. And then you thank the other person, hey, thank you for letting me enjoy that experience with you in this space wherein I thought I didn't like it. Now I get to like it because it was done in a way that respected my boundaries, that made me feel safe, that made me feel like what I'm doing is I'm validated in some way.
For the audience watching who wants to get into BDSM, and sinabi mo na it's such a big responsibility, it's such a big risk, pero it can be so pleasurable and so rewarding. Like, what's your tips and advice for them who wants to get into it?
If you're going to get into it, you should look into getting into a community. So we have Pet Life. So it's a website wherein you can connect with people who are into doing BDSM. It's just that by having a community or being part of a community, it's easier for you to look for people with the same interests. And since you're starting out, they can guide you with what you need to do or what you have to learn first.
That's also local, the website?
Yeah, actually, it's international, but we have communities here naman in the Philippines. It's just that, syempre, tago siya kasi a lot of people are tago as well. Because not a lot of people are as open as I am when it comes to talking about BDSM. Of course, safety is top priority for the participants involved. Kasi yung iba have aliases. And that's okay. And then because of that community, you can vouch for each other. Like, oh, I played with that person. She's cool. She's fine. Like, I learned a lot from her. I'm sure that if you approach her, she's going to have, she's gonna take care of you. So it's a vouching system. And it's word of mouth too. Like, as Filipinos, we like vouching for people. Like, yeah, I know that person. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And it's a way also to prevent accidents wherein some newbies get preyed upon by predators. So might as well have that space where, okay, there's this person talking to me and I'm not really sure if he's really a dom. Because there are fake doms there who are like, yeah, I'm dom, and but sometimes their own definition of dominance is just tying and fucking without practice or knowing what it means to be a good dom. So yeah, so that's getting into a community is much better than exploring it with yourself. And not knowing what to do. And it's going to cause a lot of accidents, and we don't want accidents to happen. You want it to be really safe for the people involved. You want to enjoy also. You don't want to fumble around and hurt the person you're with just because you're new. You want to research and ask around what to do.
Since we're in a pandemic, like, we can't be in a community, so how do we prepare ourselves for people interested to get into BDSM? Like how do we practice being more sexually open? How do we explore ourselves na kami lang, individual lang, in our own
person?
Yeah.
I think for now, research would be good. Like, there are things that you can do at home which are not as risky as when you do bondage. Bondage is a risky activity, but there are activities that are kink related that aren't necessarily as high risk as what I'm doing. So you can tease or edge yourself. Like, when you masturbate, you edge yourself for hours. That's in a way orgasm denial, which is also part of BDSM. So, you can do that. You can do things online. I do things online wherein I tell my subs or the people I play with that, hey, I want you to do this particular thing in this particular hour because I said so. Because that's our dynamic. So, you can do that. Who says that you can only do it with yourself? Sometimes you can just go online, have online fun with your friend. Like, you can just tease each other, like, maybe you can do this. Well, I do this on my other side. So it's playing also. But it's more of like in terms of in a safer way. You cannot say, oh, tie yourself. Because that's risky. It's risky business. So you can always be like, okay, you can watch another person jerk off and then say, okay, stop. Okay, pause for a bit and then jerk off again for like 10 seconds. So you can always also instruct. This is something that I do. It's like, okay, I'm going to watch someone jerk off online, and then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to count until 10. I mean, from 10 to 1. And then the whole time you're going to just slowly go up and down your cock. So it's like, okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 2, 1. And then, like, okay, stop. And then when they say, I'm about to count, no, you can't count because I told you can't. And then you edge yourself again for another 10 seconds. So it's a play. Like, it's already playing. It's already BDSM because you're controlling. They gave up control to you.
Yeah.
And it's you telling them what to do.
Yeah. What are the different dynamics when you want to play with someone? Like, one-time fling? Or pwede din ba siya like a serious long-term relationship?
Yeah, I mean, a BDSM relationship is like any other relationship. It's just that it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Because some people get into it with the power exchange or with the, difference between powers between individuals. Because in BDSM, there's always that giving up of control and then there's the owning of the control. So in everyday life, but usually it's 50-50.
Yeah.
But in BDSM, there's a skew or there's
to change siya.
Yeah. So one person has the power, and the other one, the other one gives up the power, and the other one controls it. So with that dynamic, of course, it's going to be a different thing. Wherein, what if I'm a woman and then I have all the power, and then the other person, usually male, is giving it up. So it means that there are privileges that I can get from that power dynamic.
After listening to you talk about BDSM and Shibari, like sobrang enlightened ako, like nawala na yung fear ko around it. So thank you so much.
I'm happy that talking about it takes away stigma, takes away the cloud of, it's dark and menacing. It's not. It shouldn't be. It's just that the people who do it are extremists, or the people, it's portrayed as an extreme thing. But in reality, if you're living it, if you're practicing it, it caters to the person you're with.
Like at first, I was thinking na BDSM puro leather and whips and violence. But after hearing you talk about it, it's a safe space for you to discuss and explore your sexuality. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Where do people find you? Sa Instagram?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram. So my Instagram is I am Nudista. That's where I usually post random things. Like I post my pictures of me being tied, but I also post pictures of my friends getting tied as well. And a lot of the times it's more of just exploration because I'm a sensual person and just like exploring anything of the senses and exploring myself. It's a platform wherein I can just post anything and express myself for who I am.
Thank you so much for that. Like, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and also comment down below. If you have any questions for Nudista, comment it down below. Please support us on our Patreon page. It would be linked down below also. Thank you so much and see you on the next video. Bye! Thank you!